Now we have a wonderful candle on the dark and stormy night. I can tell you a tale of a demonic cat and his plan to take over the world. Or at least take over the entertaining VTubing space. Welcome everybody back to the Digital Paul Workshop. It is I, the monster that lives under your bed, Techno Meow Tinkerer. And today we're kind of going to do an upgrade of my little candle here. I made this one here years ago with a piece of PVC pipe and hot glue to hold one of those teacup candles to make it look like a regular candle that has melted. Not high-end decor or prop making, but it still was something fun to do. Well, I've decided I want to make an upgrade version of this, but I want to make it electric. Because I had picked up one of those little candle flickering light bulbs that like 1 watt from the bin store for like $1. And I says, okay, I got the bulb, let's make something for it.
Warning, warning, do not follow this fool's examples. Always take proper safety precautions. Do not be in a rush to the hospital. Do not be in a rush for me to come visit you.
And so as we see here in the video, I actually took a PVC pipe, still using PVC pipe. I was looking around for one. I was actually looking for a socket in the PVC pipe for the socket to fit in. And one reason why I ended up going this route is because I kind of want to use the hot glue again. Now, I couldn't find what I was looking for. My dad said he might have something, and sure enough, he had the socket that I kind of was close to what I was wanting, and he had the PVC pipe that the socket could fit in. Now here was my first time using my drill hole press. Ooh, there's a little bug I saw crawling on the thing. And I've been wanting one for a while, but what I was doing here is I was creating a ring for the PVC pipe, and I was using 2 different drill hole saws. And the one I was using here was a bigger one with a power drill that my dad had, and that press come in handy. And as you can see here, I was drilling from both sides. And I was doing it this way because once I get this big one out, I want to be able to finish drilling and not have to sit there and hold it for a long period of time. As you can see, I want the piece that's inside. And see, I'm sitting here having to hold it, and I didn't want to be sitting here for a long time having to hold it to drill it through. And so I made the ring for the PVC pipe to sit in. And this is because, as you know, most candle holders usually have a cup for the candle to sit in, and that's why I'm trying to mimic that a little bit. Then I made a base using the bigger hole saw for the ring, and a little bit of wood glue. And this is what you do when you don't have a lathe. I like lathes. I've played with one in the past. I would not mind getting one, but I would want one that's a little bit more safer than the one we were using. Matter of fact, the fellow was more experienced to me working on it was doing, and a piece of the wood piece he was doing flew across the shop. I don't want that. I can handle a bit, maybe tearing off a little bit of skin off of my hand, but I do not want to lose digits. But as you can see here, I was using actually the drill bit to kind of hold it in place as I was gluing all the pieces together. Interesting enough, I did pre-drill out all these things, and I still had to use the drill to pull the bit out. And then glue the cup on to the top using the bit again to help line everything up and try to get everything kind of be pretty well centered. Here I used a bigger bit to drill out a hole because I had a VCR plug that I took off a VCR years ago, and I wanted to use it to run power. And so I made the hole bigger so I could run it through while I was out there in the shop. Now, one thing I was going to do it differently, and I realized afterwards, like, ooh, I didn't make accommodations. And then my mom mentioned that there are a lot of them that have feet on them, and so it gave me the idea to go get those Jenga blocks I use for my Mega Man diorama and cut them to make just some little feet to go on this unit. I know they're not fancy. And here my homemade sandpaper wheel, using to help sand things down because it would have took a while. I did forget something to do with this that I didn't realize when I was painting. I'll get to that when we do painting. Also, I went over the PVC pipe because it was dirty. I washed it off. I washed it with soap. I tried to clean it up a little bit. Then I used the sanding wheel to try to clean everything out and knock all the little burrs off from me cutting. I ended up going and painting that later on, but I wanted to kind of get it cleaned up anyway. And I used my little thing to try to find the center, and I forgot where my little small triangles at, so I'm kind of trying to use my ruler to get close to center. Now, when I ended up looking at this thing after I was done, one way the feet look symmetric, the other way the feet don't look symmetric. So it depends on what side you look at, but most of this was trying something new, trying something different, seeing what I can create. And here I end up using the battery of my drill to help hold the things in place so I don't have to worry about them falling off. I don't want somehow they end up getting side having tip. Now I went back out here because I was trying to figure out how to create some decorative stuff for the side. And no, I did not get no ideas from anything in particular. So I played around with the drills. As you can see, there's the big drill I was talking about. That thing is heavy. And I ended up creating this crescent. So I at least now know how to make a crescent moon out of wood. And I ended up cutting it off here. And I know somebody's going to probably fuss about me keep using hacksaws for wood projects. But this is the only one I got. I have a regular wood saw somewhere, but I don't know where it's at. So I keep having to use my hacksaw. Use the grinding wheel down again. Now I did cut some more of those Jenga wood blocks to help make for the side pieces. The only sanding paper I have is 200, so I really couldn't get... I don't know much about the different sanding papers, so I don't know which ones. But I ended up gluing the Jenga wood pieces that I cut together because I needed them to be about the same width as the wood I use, the crescent pieces or the horns I'm making. This was fun trying to do this. As you can see, I keep using the same block of wood for every one of these projects at the desk. I ended up putting some other Jengas on the blocks on the side to help steady it, but I had to dry that out, and I wanted that to dry first so I can use it to help hold this piece on as I had glued it into place. As you can see, I do got some of those blocks of wood down there. I'm trying to help keep it steady so it don't roll anywhere. I realized after I filmed this, when I stopped filming, that I need to reset that because it didn't go there. Oh yeah, making homemade wood putty again with sawdust and wood glue. Interesting enough, yeah, the filling in some of the gaps, because one piece did get knocked off when I cut it off of the thing and tried to fill the gaps. I do not think this stuff sands as well, because I went down to try to sand a lot of stuff and I don't think it sands, so that might be a minus or a plus to the actual real wood putty. But considering what route I went, it probably didn't matter. Now, I was trying to make sure I was filling in any gaps. I don't think there was really any gaps around these seams. At least none that I could really tell, or I wasn't really filling in. The only gaps was really around the joints of the horn piece I put on. As you can see, yes, I did not get no inspiration. And no, they are not from my horns. They are... But I did not get no inspiration from something of my childhood. Yeah, a lot of you are probably seeing the picture I got popping off the fingers pointing to it. And then using a popsicle stick to help hold the sandpaper, give the sandpaper strength if I try to sand in some of these corners to smooth things out. I forgot to film me painting the PVC pipe when I was painting the lampstand. I ended up taking just a picture, but yeah, I gave the PVC pipe a light coat of paint. It's one reason why I sanded it too, to make sure that painted here. And as you can see here, I got a lot of wood standing up, and I forgot to wet the wood earlier before painting it and sanding those things down, and so that ended up being an issue. That is something I need to remember. Now, I did put a base coat. Now, I'm going to be honest, I had no plan whatsoever to what I wanted this to look at. I had ideas and things I wanted to try. As normally, I like putting a white coat down so I can get the brightest or most intense of the color, because it's easier to dull down. There is a way I think you can increase the intensity, but I don't remember from art class what you have to mix in, but... So I just rather start with being the most intense and then just dull it down if I need be. Now, when I went to put on this orange paint, and after I let it dry a bit, it seemed like it was still too bright. And I didn't want to, because really kind of wanted a brass color, but I didn't look up on how to make it, and I really don't have a lot of paints at this time. And so I just painted this orange for right now, and then I went back once it dried a little bit, and you'll see here in just a bit that I mixed a little bit of the gray with the orange to try to dull it down. Yeah, that's it, because it's fun part. I didn't even bother using painter's tape. I probably should have used it, but one reason for that is because the center part I was going to paint a darker color anyway, so I wasn't too worried. And like I said, this is one case where I really weren't too planning. Here's where I darkened the orange with a bit of gray paint, and I was going back over. And interesting enough is even after this had dried a little bit, it didn't look dark. But boy, when I woke up the next day and came back to this thing, it had darkened. It almost was a brown. So note to self, mix a little gray with orange and you will get a brown. Which just makes sense, because I think if you mix a little black with orange, you get a brown. Now here I mixed blue with the thing, kind of almost a greenish brown. And I was actually aiming for a bit more of a brownish tone for this thing. I kind of wanted a little leather to wrap around, but I didn't have any. And I used this old throw spray bottle to spray black paint that's been highly diluted in water on there to try to. I'm sitting here just trying to give this like a rustic look. It ended up like it should belong like in the scene from like Silent Hill, where she was in the purgatory and Pyramid Head will start coming around, and how everything will be looking rustic and things. So just playing around. Now here was the quickest part, was putting the electrical together. And now I'm cutting off the long extension because I don't really need that long of wire coming off the socket, especially since I'm going to be having the PVC pipe housing the connection. And so I take this old VCR wire, trimmed off. Now they were two different type of wires, and I've been meaning to look up and see one was a gray colored copper and one was just your standard copper, or did that wire right there inside the socket was actually a totally different one. I've been meaning to actually look that up. Now what I'm getting ready to do here, my dad actually had some of those shrink wrap. I don't know if he had them in the past. He had them at the time I did some of my past work, but he had them at this time, and so I ended up using them instead of electrical tape, because I was not having good work with electrical tape. But yeah, run the cord through everything. Now, one of the things I'm getting ready to do here is, from what I saw online, the short end of the outlet was where the hot wires run to, based on one of the diagrams I saw for wiring up the plug. So I wanted to run the hot wire to the small prong and the ground to the big prong. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually, instead of using one of those little meters, because I'm still not sure how to use the one my dad's got now. I know how to use his older one that he used to have. But so I'm just making my own little test up with a 9-volt battery, some alligator clips, and an LED light. And the reason I'm doing this drawing here is because I didn't realize till after I had filmed it that I was not in frame on either camera. But here we're going to see, you see the little light. And I was surprised I was actually getting all this on the first try. I mean, the LED light, the right wire in the perfect position, I was surprised. And so right here I just soldered the two wires together. Now I have put the shrink wrap on the VCR hot wire, or what I thought was the hot wire, and then the shrink wrap on the socket neutral wire, so it'll help me keep the wire straight. Now I know with incandescent light bulbs it probably don't really matter that much because it is alternating current. This being a 1-watt flickering light bulb, I'm not sure if it worked either way. It worked for me in the end, so I don't know if it doesn't matter which way you wire it up. I know LEDs are directional current, at least unless you have a special circuit set up, but the actual bulb is directional. And so yeah, I put a little stuff on it. It helped a little bit. I think the shrink wrap helped me the most this time, because I still don't think my soldering joints are that great, even though I'm trying to learn. Maybe somebody out there who knows a little bit more can leave a comment in the video like, yeah, you might want to try this if you're soldering. Yeah, that is a big flame I got on the lighter because I originally turned it up for lighting the teacup candles. And now we put everything together. And I didn't really glue it into place because I did do a test run before doing the final phase of the decoration, which is right here. We see adding the hot glue to simulate melting wax. Now the good thing about the hot glue, because I think I might have missed it, I did put a piece of the Jenga block on the inside of the PVC for the socket to sit up on. That's one reason why it's higher than that, is because it's sitting on that piece, which is okay because like I said, I was going to use this as a way to decorate, and couldn't get a light bulb in on the first try. So it kind of looks like hot wax, and I could probably go back and add some more looking at it now. And boom, I now have a candle for Halloween here in the month of Monstober. It works pretty good, actually. I say this is about the extent of my electrical knowledge, is how to make simple circuits like this. And so now, if there's a few things looking back, I probably would go back and want to do, if I was to do this again, they'll do a little differently. But for the most part, I'm fairly satisfied with the outcome. And now we have a wonderful candle on the dark and stormy night. I can tell you a tale of a demonic cat and his plan to take over the world. Or at least take over the entertaining VTubing space. Yeah. Well, I hope this video was informative for some of you and gave some of you some ideas. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe to help support the channel, and share it with anyone you think might find this video interesting. Have a nice day.
Yeah.